Hello everyone, this is Paul Peltier, Product Manager at Martin Professional. This is a quick start guide showing you how to synchronize a soundtrack with MPC. As we know, MPC has a timecode built in, but this timecode is really meant for either like a MIDI input or for an SMPTE signal. There is no direct music player that you can synchronize with MPC. But there is a way to actually synchronize the start of MPC cuelist time with the internal timecode and an external media player, and we will do that using the M-Series manager. Let's get started. So we are ready. The first thing we're going to do is to load a different view layout so that we have a view that matches your resolution. We go to Menu, Load and Save, Screen Layout, Load. In the Sample folder, there's one called Layout, and in Layouts, in my case, I'm going to choose 1920 by 1080. We can close the menu. Now we see we have a menu that fills up the entire area. Before we get started, let's go back to the menu. This time we go to System, I/O Settings. In I/O Settings, we're going to go to Timecode. And there, we're going to choose Internal and turn it on. And then we press Apply, and we can close the menu. So now we're using the internal timecode, so we will do that for the cue list. Now we're just going to record a cue list with a few cues in it. I've selected some fixtures. So we have the parameters there. Let's select some intensity and a color. And this is our first cue. So we can open the keypad, press record, and click there on an empty cue list at the bottom and give it a name. Let's call it show 1. And we're going to use timecode as type of cue list. And we record a second cue. And when you record another cue, you can simply press record and enter on the keypad. So let's do some movement. You can use the grid by double clicking at the bottom on the values. That will open the pan and tilt grid. If I go to a view with a 2D plan, I can see that. So we record it again as another cue. Let's do an effect on pan and tilt. Can give it some delay value. There's different ways of doing delays. It's possible to use grouping as well, like to say a fan by block of 6, and you'll get different result. Alright, this is good. Record that as another cue. Let's put some gobos. You can double click at the bottom there, and we get a color picker. We'll record that cue. Alright, so clear to clear the editor, and then we move on to the cue list. So we have a cue list there, but there's one view more interesting. So if you scroll down, there's another set of view there, and there's one called timecode cue list. This one is interesting because you got the timecode at the top there. And there you see we have 5 cues. We can go into edit mode, select a fade time, just to give you an example how to change a fade time, put 1 second, enter. Now we have this cue in 1 second. And then what we're going to do is actually record another cue called 0.5 just before 1. That's going to be like just a startup cue. To that cue, we're going to add a macro, and we're going to choose timecode, and we're going to use reset. So whenever we basically hit the go the first time the cue list, it's going to first reset the timecode to 0. On the next cue, which is cue number 1 there, let's add another timecode macro. This time it's going to be start. To enter a timecode value, you click on that area there. To enter a time of, let's say, 1 second, you're going to enter 100 and then press enter. You can do like different timing. This is like 2 second, 15 frame, 10 second, and let's say it was 15 second, 12 frame. It's possible also to change a range of timing at the same time by adding values. So you can select them and do plus 100. That's going to add 1 second to all selected timing. To clear timing, minus enter will reset the timing of the selected cues. It's possible to do a learning as well. So you can actually use the main go to learn. You can press go there to start the cue list, and then use the main go as a marker. So every time you press it, it's going to move to the next cue and put that timing into the cue. To release, you can right click on the release and then press go. So as you see now, it is following the timecode. We can do a release. It's possible also to change that go back button there as a release. Go to the option into function assignment, and then the second one there, we change that for a release. So now we have a go there and a release. Let's record 2 more normal cue lists. Select one of them. This one, we're going to add a macro to the first cue. These were blank cues with nothing. Again, we're going to have a timecode, and for this one, we're going to use the pause command. And for the other cue lists, we're going to use the reset command. You can rename them, click on the top part there, and just rename it. Pause timecode and reset timecode. Now let's go and start the MX Manager and start add on MX Manager. Then what we're going to do is new manager data. We don't need to save anything. Yes, we want to create a new show file. And we're ready. So from the main menu of MX Manager, we're going to press Action Editor. In Action Editor, we go to cuelist, and then we select Release at the bottom, and we drag the show 1 command. And then we hit select Go, and we drag it with a Go command. Then we go to Executable, we browse, we make sure that we browse, we can select a soundtrack here that we want to add. So for this, we go to, instead of exe, we're going to choose star.star, so for every file. And then you can browse to your hard drive, a place where you have your music. If the path is too long, where you're running down to many subfolders, it is better to move the track to, let's say, C directly, as there's a limit of characters that you can put in that field there. So you can select a track directly there, and then we're gonna basically save this action as a start show. Save as new. Then we do a new action. This time we go to command list, back to cuelist, and we're gonna select pause show, and then we're gonna do a go on that pause timecode. And we're gonna save this, pause, show, and as a new. Now we create another new action. This time we're gonna use the release command of show 1 and go on the reset timecode. Save, and this will be a reset command. It's resetting the timecode, releasing the cuelist. We'll save as new, close this. Go to touch panel, create a new touch panel, then clear all the buttons. Then we're gonna add just 4 buttons. And in the setup, we're gonna choose automatic. Then we can open the action item list. In the actions there, we can drag on the buttons, those commands we just did. And we're ready to use this. So now basically we start the music and the timecode at the same time. It will use your default media player for your music. There you go. Now you know how to synchronize an external media player with the cuelist. Thank you for watching.